King of the Hammers is a race in Southern California, Johnson Valley, OHV area, right outside of a little town called Yucca Valley. Pretty much the middle of nowhere. Probably talking about some of the hardest trails in the country, if not the world, and just some of the fastest desert sections. And to me, I just kind of see it as the pinnacle of off-road racing. It is 100 miles an hour in the desert, over the whoops, through the fast sections, and then as soon as you're done with that, you're in the rocks, and just huge rocks. It just looks like you're on the face of the moon. Just a totally different world out there, and can really, really challenge any rig from 4600 stock class all the way up to the 4400 unlimited guys. A lot of people don't finish this race. Most people don't finish this race. So I think just really the challenge of putting yourself and your equipment in pretty much the toughest possible situation and seeing what you can do and seeing if you can finish this race and seeing how you fare.
And as you've been touring around the great rock crawler compound, we definitely have our hopes up and we're rooting for Adam Collen and Doug Langford as they take a brand new machine and race the first time ever here at the 2022 King of the Hammers.
So I'm Adam. I'm the Chief Operations Officer at Rock Crawler Suspension. I drive the 4642 LJ in the 4600 class with Ultra4. Well, I discovered Ultra4 Racing probably 2016 when I started working at Rock Crawler, and they were just finishing up the build for the 4899 car. And it's been kind of a love affair ever since. Years back, Jeremy and I were out doing transmission tuning in 4899 and getting ready for the Kentucky race, and I think that was in 2018. And I spent a good day behind the wheel of that car, figuring things out and all that. And that evening, Jeremy said, "Hey, would you want to race?" And I said, "Of course, absolutely." And from there, it was just kind of planning what we're going to put together and race, and the LJ is what came out of that conversation.
I first heard about the King of the Hammers and really Ultra4 in general. That was really the same time for me. It was about 4 years ago, right before the year of crazy snow and wet and rain. We had really gotten into, as Outlaw Offroad had gotten into expansion, and we're getting out of just a one or two store, just one couple locations, and we're really starting to look across the country and getting bigger. And a couple guys were going to King of the Hammers every year, and it had been going for probably 10 years at that point. But saw it, heard about it, started looking at it, watching the videos, what was going on out there. People were posting on social media, all this, and even from a distance that year of being 3,000 miles away from it, just seeing pictures and videos, I was hooked. Been building Jeeps for years and years, and really love to go off-road. I've been going off-road for years and like to go fast, so I figured this is off-road, this is fast, this is me. I got to get involved with this. I got involved with Ultra4 Racing just a couple of years ago with Rock Crawler Suspension. Rock Crawler Suspension fields several cars in the last couple of years in a couple of different classes, and together with Savvy Off-Road Racing at the time, I got out there just to help. I wanted to see what KOH was all about. Got involved with helping with the pit teams, pitting the cars, fueling the cars, fixing them when they came into pits with various issues, and just really kind of jumped in head first, and it's just been a roller coaster ever since.
So as far as what vehicle to build, that's always the challenge of 4600. 4600 is you pick your poison, and every chassis has a drawback and every chassis has advantages. Not every chassis has advantages, but most chassis have an advantage somewhere. The Wrangler chassis, particularly an LJ has a really fantastic wheelbase to start with. 4600 allows you to stretch 3 inches, so I could be a 105-inch wheelbase on solid axles. 4 liters are reliable, but 4 liters aren't big power plants, and without any power adders, that's the drawback of that chassis. But Ultra4 is not, in most races, big horsepower necessary to make it happen. In a lot of cases, it's just making reliable power and being consistent and making forward progress all day. There's a couple races like Brandon, things like that, where big power is a big advantage. But for the most part, it's reliability that's really going to get the car there. So as far as getting the LJ ready to race hammers, or really any Ultra4 race hammers, just happened to be our first one. It was a full rebuild of that car. When I got it, it was on 35s with stock axles, with a bad motor and a bad transmission, and I think the transfer case was in the back seat. It was as much of a basket case as a Jeep can be, and getting it ready for hammers meant it got totally disassembled. It got a fresh motor, it got a transmission rebuild, it got all the cage work, it got new axles and steering and drive shafts and transfer case and seats and dash and literally everything that makes a car we had to do. And it took on and off, working a couple nights a week here and there. It took about 3 years to get it ready. And it was the last 4 months of it was a very big to do. The list was huge, and it was a lot of really, really late nights getting together.